Hey everyone, I'm here to bring you another Zelda countdown. This time I'll be ranking the bosses from The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. Now I'll be ranking them from my least favorite to my favorite. Now there are a lot of factors that decide the boss if it's good or not, such as boss battle, music, design, difficulty, and much more. And this is my personal list. Anyways, before we get started, I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna be including the final boss, so don't expect Vaatu or any of his forms on this list. So without further ado, let's get started. The main gimmick of this game, as you could tell from the title, is shrinking down to size of a Minish. And this mechanic is used pretty well throughout the game. It is used for puzzle solving, for side quests, heck, it is even used against boss battles, or to explain some of the bosses. An example of this would be the first boss, the big green Choo-Choo. Now before you fight the boss, you actually get a cutscene where it shows you a regular Choo-Choo, a regular green Choo-Choo entering the dungeon. And the reason why you see it as a big green Choo-Choo is because you're a Minish, which is a really creative idea. Now even though the idea behind this boss is creative, the battle itself is pretty bland. All you have to do is just use a Gust Zot to suck the base of the Choo-Choo until it becomes wobbly. After a while it will fall and you have to slash its head a couple of times. Rinse and repeat and you basically win. It's a pretty bland and easy boss fight, but it's understandable for a first boss, which is why it's my least favorite boss in the game. Whoa, a wind dungeon? Awesome! I love doing themed dungeons. I bet this dungeon is gonna be pretty awesome, filled with a lot of creative wind puzzles. Okay, so far the only thing I see this dungeon having is a couple of dirts that you have to dig up with the mold mitts. Oh well, I'm pretty sure the boss will be wind themed. Really Nintendo, this is the boss of the wind themed dungeon, a statue with a face and two hands, really creative. Anyways guys, Mazal is the boss of the Fortress of Winds, and the reason why he's this low isn't because of his design actually, it's just that boss battle itself is pretty easy and boring. I mean, it's really obvious what you have to do. Shoot an arrow in its eye and slash it a couple of times, and that's it. Once you have defeated both of its hands, its head will shut down and you have to shrink down as a Minish and enter its head. Once you enter its head, you have to destroy a pillar that has a device under it. That's all there is to this battle. Repeat this 3 times and you win. He will gain some new moves every time you actually do damage to him, but they're all pretty basic and easy to avoid. None of his moves are actually difficult, which is why this boss is really low on my list, it's just too easy. Up next we have the boss of the Cave of Flames, Gleeok. Oh sorry, Gleerock. They have pretty similar names. Anyway, this boss has an amazing design for a dragon, although his body looks kind of weird. The battle itself is pretty challenging. He can breathe multiple fireballs which can be pretty difficult to dodge, rocks start to fall from the ceiling, and the more damage you deal to him, the harder he becomes because the lava starts to spread around, giving you less space to walk on. The way to beat this boss is that you have to use the King of Paku on the rock that's on its back to damage him. Once you do that, you have to walk on its neck to hit the weak spot on its body, but be careful, you have to escape quickly before it sinks in the lava and you fall into it. Which makes this boss battle pretty challenging and thrilling. It's really a great battle for a second dungeon boss. This place is sure very cold. I really hope that we find the water element really quickly. Oh, there it is. But it's frozen. Darn it. I guess I have to go through this dungeon more. Oh, why are these enemies so annoying? Oh, darn slippery floors making this dungeon incredibly tedious and annoying. Oh, not this guy again. Why is this place filled with dark rooms and annoying enemies? Finally, the ice is melting. I can finally get the water element and get out of this freezing place. Wait, what's going on? Oh no, it's melting. No wait, don't take the water element, no! No! Darn Octorok. I hate this place so much. This is Big Octo. Personally, I find this boss to be the most difficult in the game besides the final boss. He has the same idea as the big green Choo-Choo. You're just a Minish, that's why you see him as a big Octo. One thing I really like about this boss battle is its difficulty. He has multiple unpredictable moves that involves his mouth. He can suck you in, he can inhale you, he can freeze you, he can spit rocks at you, and when he's at low health, he can turn the entire room dark. He can even sometimes ram into the walls and cause rocks to fall from the ceiling. The way to beat this boss is that you have to deflect the rocks that it spits at you. But like I said, it has multiple moves that all involves his mouth. So telling at which time he will spit the rocks is very hard. At one time you might think, okay, he's gonna spit a rock, but he might just suddenly inhale you or freeze you, which makes this boss very hard to predict and very challenging, which is something I really like. Once you have deflected the rock back at it 3 times, it will move into a different phase. In this phase, he will freeze the entire ground, making it very slippery and hard for you to maneuver. You have to burn the flower that's on its rear end, but since the floor is very slippery and he keeps rotating around, it makes it very hard for you to burn the flower, which adds to the overall difficulty of the battle. Oh yeah, the final dungeon. Let's do this. Wait, that was it? Whoa, that was so easy. Alright, boss time. Wait, what? A dark knot? Well, that was easy. Wait, what? That wasn't the boss? Fine, let's move on. Alright, this time it must be the real deal. No more tricks. Georg Perr is a really unique boss fight. It's one big red manta ray and 2 smaller blue manta rays. You have to duplicate yourself and attack the 3 eyes simultaneously. Once you have attacked all 3 eyes simultaneously, you have to jump on the back of the blue manta ray. While you're on the back of the blue manta ray, you have to attack the eye that will open. At the same time, you have to be careful. You have to pay attention to the tail since it will try to attack you with the tail. You have to dodge the attack by jumping over it with the rock escape. It's actually pretty fun, paying attention to which eye is going to open and at the same time you have to pay attention to the tail in order not to get damaged. As the fight goes on, it becomes progressively harder. The other blue manta ray will start to shoot rainbow colored balls at you while you're trying to duplicate yourself, making it very challenging for you to attack the eyes. You have to time your copies just right in order not to get hit by the blue or by the rainbow colored balls and lose your copies. Overall, the unique battle plus moving from one manta ray to another by using your crop capes while focusing on all the things that is happening on the screen just makes this boss battle very challenging and intense. This is my favorite boss battle in the Minish Cap. Anyways guys, this is my ranking of the bosses in The Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap. I really hope you enjoyed. Leave in the comments your ranking of the bosses. Please like and subscribe for more content. See you soon guys.